Welcome everybody to this Twin Peaks episode. It's episode 7, and I know what you're thinking. Episode 8 is right around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the one that's interesting that we all talk about.
It's the one I refer
I'm
to as
here,
the Who Boy.
the Who Boy. Yeah, that's what it should be called. That's what we'll name it.
The
Yeah.
one, the one that's the hardest to describe to anybody.
The Who Boy.
Right.
Just
But I'm here with my Broachy boys, and
Hello.
we're gonna be jumping into this episode 7.
hi, Tyler.
Episode 7 is
Hey,
called
hey, Tyler.
There's a Body.
Tyler.
All right. What?
Hi, Tyler.
Hey, my Broachy man.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Wilson.
How's it going, everybody?
We all
Pretty
good? Everything dandy?
Base Dandy.
All right. So, do you recall what I just the name drop of this episode? Do you remember what it was?
Well, last one was
Uh,
Don't Die, wasn't it?
Last
Prenus?
one was Don't Die.
Is it Prenus?
Was it
Prenus?
Prenus?
Close. It's called There's a Body, all right.
Hmm.
So there's going to be a
Oh.
body.
Like catching a body?
If you recall, last time we had a huge event happen that tickled Eric's funny bones by a kid getting just rocked by a truck.
Hell yeah. That was
And,
my favorite.
Hand and mouth
Best
magic.
episode.
Hand-mouth magic.
Oh, dude.
We had Dougie flashing some liar pants on fire on our Tom Sizemore
Tom
bud.
Sizemore. Was that last episode that it opened with Dougie in front of the statue where he was talking to the security guard?
Yep.
That's such a good open.
And we talked a little bit about Dougie and how he is a pure being, and he is very much in a Zen meditative sort of state.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of an interesting through line to like keep us maybe trying to understand
Yeah, he's
his mental capacity and where he's at right
he's
now.
like lost but focused at the same time. It's interesting.
Hmm. I mean, that's all we really have to say about that last episode, because I'm just itching to get back into watching this next one. So
Yeah,
let's do it.
it's been I think more than a week since we last watched, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johanna Ray, Christina Her.
Stuff happening in Twin Peaks, guys.
You're not kidding.
So we had some great scenes happen. Yes, to start us off, we had this Ben and Jerry little antic when they're trying to talk on the phone, and Jerry's just out in the wilderness, just having a ordeal.
think
Blitzed out of his gourd, dude.
He's out of his gourd.
Blitzed out of his gourd, dude. Really.
But the stuff that I really liked was Hawk and Frank Truman.
Yep.
Them discussing the hidden pages that Hawk discovered in his heritage stall.
So
Of,
I think they said that
Laura
they
Palmer's diary.
they were positing that like Leland hid them
Yeah, Leland hid
when
them.
when he was there or
He
something.
just showed up after her death. He wasn't probably himself, though. He was probably being puppeted to put those
Who
pages.
knows? Who knows?
I don't think Leland in
'Cause they
his right
came-
mind would take those pages out.
They
Like-
came from the diary that was just the secret diary that was discovered at Harold Smith's, and I don't know whether the pages were torn out at the time that the diary was discovered or not.
Diary?
I assume so. Diary. That the diary was discovered.
Mega Man! Well, hold up, Mega Man. That diary was discovered.
We saw says Mega Man.
But yeah, I love this scene with Hawk talking to Frank about this whole situation and dropping some hints on Annie invading Laura's dreams to tell her to write that in her diary, which was amazing.
I think that might be the first time that, which isn't surprising, but it's like the first time in the return. Yeah, good smear frame here.
Sorry.
That Twin Peaks is referencing itself in a way where like we've never had because Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me references the original show in ways, and then this references Fire Walk with Me for the first time, like with Annie showing up in Laura's dream and these missing pages and everything, because we get like so much exposition about her diary in Fire Walk with Me.
Your diary was a huge thing in the show, especially with that Harold guy, the botanist recluse guy.
Yeah, that weirdo.
That kept the pages, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot to those dream soul sketches or writings, you know, that she would wake up from dreams or nightmares to be told by entities.
Which it
yeah.
To me, the return is feeling more and more dreamy as we've been going on, with like just the addition of shots. Like we had like 3 or 4 shots of just like that transitionary, like the last one that we had here was like a very slow pan over a forest, and then there was a one before where it was like the mountain range with all the mist and trees, and there were multiple instances of that, of just like setting the mood for 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then it would cut to the next scene. But I just feel like the frequency of those little snippets happening is getting more and more frequent as we're going through here.
Yeah.
Whether it be those just like little nature scenes or things in general.
Establishing shots.
Yeah, that really, really break things up.
I really want to make mention here.
There's some there.
We had what was it, a logger or woodsman or whatever fucking showed up this week.
Yeah, that's true.
First appearance of
we have to understand what's happening with this guy too eventually. That was eerie.
I don't know, dude. It might we might be elucidated later. I don't know that we have all the context right now.
Real quick, I wanted to mention a comment we got on a previous video, Case Files.
Oh, yeah?
Where, when we talked about Frank and his wife kind of going at each other. This is from @JJBBA. I like to think of the scenes like Sheriff Truman and his wife and Audrey and her husband as contemplative, and also may serve as a deliberate redirect from the main storylines to prime your mind for when those main storylines return? Question mark, question mark.
Oh, interesting.
Or even a deliberate detour or distraction just when you might be grasping what the fuck is going on. So that's a great comment. Like, I understand that comment, because yeah, they do seem like a misdirect, or like maybe a palate cleanser in a weird way.
Yeah, especially those Audrey scenes with her husband.
Yeah, her poor husband that just has to like listen to her, and he's
her
just
poor
like,
husband. What about poor Audrey?
And Audrey is going through some stuff too. Yeah, but I do understand those like misdirect, like these small moments that happen that are just between two, you know, people that have relationships. There's some truth to maybe it serving a purpose for the story to be like, all right, I can come back to this and just be like, wait, what the fuck is this? Why are these people yelling at each other, and why are they being so brash and like mean?
It's not like that. It's not like that kind of thing didn't happen in the original series either, because you would have like, remember the scene that happened late in season 2 in the bank? It was just the old guy, like,
the bank
starting at point A and then shuffling around and eventually ending up at point B, I think, and then like Andrew and Pete entered, but it was like between 5 and 8 minutes long. Like it was like a lengthy scene of just this guy shuffling around. There's those palate cleansers that definitely happened in the original series too. So that's a really good comment. I like that.
Oh yeah,
right.
It makes sense. And contemplative, yeah, and deliberate redirect. But they're useful, and they're kind of developing this kind of side plot, these side stories, and they're I mean, with the Frank and his wife situation,
Yes, the Frank.
there is that understanding why she acts the way she does and why it serves us to like understand her mental state because of what happened to their kid.
Right.
So we know that he is a very, serious kind of,
Hang dangler.
do-gooder. He wants to, do right by the law and things like that. And he wants to, provide for his wife and make things easier for his wife after such a horrific incident happened to them.
Well, if Frank's brother Harry is like the kind of guy to I don't know, because I just feel like if Harry is going to be like falling for Josie and going through these things, what did Frank go through? Did he have a Josie? Did he have like what's his background? Where was
He was
he
his own Josie.
an officer before? You know what I mean?
The School of Hard Knocks.
Because we have people like Maddie who enter into the town, or people that aren't like necessarily from the town,
Mm-hmm.
but they spend time there, and it doesn't. I just am curious about this character and what he may have done outside of what we see here in the show, his history.
Right. Right.
Yeah, same. We had an interesting Skype call with
Yeah,
Doc
Yeah.
out fishing.
Rip.
good old Doc. One of the original boys, because it was like
Yes, you remember that thumbnail from way back in season 1?
the
where
hero shot,
the
dude.
hero shot, everybody lined up and Doc was like right there.
All four of them going out to the Margaret Lanterman's cabin.
Yeah, that was such a good scene. And that was so like picturesque, like a album cover kind of shot.
Yeah, yeah. It's really nice that Doc just gets to like end up, from what it sounds, spending his time on the banks of rivers fishing, eating a bunch of good food, and having a heck of a time.
Well, here's one thing that is important about this scene is that in this episode, everybody's uncovering that the coop that is outside and running amok is not the coop they know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we have Doc kind of relaying that information, like, what was it like when you saw Coop, after he came to you? And he's like, oh, he just gave me a look. Like, I called after him, and he just gave me this look that wasn't him. So Doc knew, and it's like haunts him, because he even says, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I remember that. I remember that face, and that must have stuck with him. And Hawk is realizing that like from the pages that
Yeah.
Annie was relaying this information to Laura, that the coop that exited the lodge wasn't actually him. And he put those pieces together. And then we have Diane that says,
Yeah.
after she meets with Doppelkoop, she's like
Little data.
pointing to her heart, saying like, he doesn't have this. He's not the one I remember.
There's
And
something
that
in
emotion.
here.
Yeah.
There's something missing in here, something like that.
And so there was so much
Pointing out her
truth to that. So
butthole.
everybody kind of understands that, Gordon Cole even was just like, oh, I understand. Yeah, I know. Like if you say,
That's good enough for me, Tammy.
yeah,
Yeah. God, and there was a specific phrase that the Doc used. He said like, I don't remember the last time that I saw that face, or like.
there was something where it was like it wasn't his face. Like it
was a
it
very
must have been
specific phrase where he was like, he turned and looked at me, and I don't remember the last time I saw that face, or he said it was very, very specific wording, which made it all that more impactful. But I do think that was that actor's last performance was doing that Skype call.
Yeah, it might have been even just like something he filmed at home or some shit.
I wouldn't.
Or
Well,
just set something up quick.
The reason he was wearing a hat that said "Got Trout" is he was probably out fucking fishing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's just enjoying his last year.
able to get him on a Skype call.
Yeah.
But it was a great exposition to understand what happened after season 2 ended, and like when Coop left the lodge, or when Doppelkoop left, what some aftermath. I'd like to know some people's understanding of what happened after that. Like, did they escape? What happened to Annie? Like, what was going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that there's some like a sort of resolution or understanding of events that happened afterwards. But then we move to Colonel Davis here and Knox, or whatever her name is. They're examining the body, and they're trying to piece it together that it's not Major Briggs, and it's somebody not that age that they originally thought. And she's just flabbergasted.
That's kind of like a big reveal right there. It's like, okay, this is the body of Major Briggs, and it's basically like displaced out of time by 4 years.
40. Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah. But to them, it's like, it can't be, though. He should be 70-something right now. This is a 40-something-year-old body. Can't be him. It's like what it is.
So she's weirded out. Rightly so. And then we get weirded out when we see a black shadow, and then the eerie noises. Yeah, the broad shows are showing up.
There's some music that starts playing, and then when the character like comes into focus and we see more of who it is, there's like that electrical scratching is the best way I can put it, where it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Corn. We got some corn shots.
On the beat, huh?
Creamed corn.
We got corn shots in this one. And this is my thumbnail. I'm going to leave it here. This is just a beautiful thumbnail of him whistling by an atom bomb.
Well, it's very,
James on album title, though.
Like
whistling by an atom bomb.
The fact that this shows up the first time that Gordon Cole does, and the fact that like this is something that precedes episode 8. Like next time that we watch this is gonna be fucking insane. Like I almost feel like let's start the episode and all just mute ourselves so we can all just enjoy it at one time, and then by the time the episode ends, when we come together, we're gonna have so much. It's gonna be like a deluge from all of us.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's a good idea.
But yeah, what a great. It's really, really interesting to I feel like I'm getting a clearer picture of the return than the first time that I watched it. Not only because, you know, second viewing gives me more context, but also having other people to bounce these ideas off of is giving me more of an understanding of
what could be going on.
Yeah.
Deeper meanings. Go deeper with your ideas.
Deeper holes.
Deeper spirit fingers.
Spiritual mound.
Spirit fingers and a whole
mound.
This is your spirit mound.
This is your spiritual mound.
We'll get to that, but
you think about that, Tammy Preston.
We have Albert and Gordon visit Diane after she's had some one-night stand with some guy, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
But they want her to go talk to Doppelkoop, and we mentioned it earlier, but she does, and she says there's something missing in him. But the situation that they go through where you go talk to her, no, we go together. It's kind of interesting. And then they all travel together.
God damn it. I wish I... So, like, you brought something up at a certain point there, and I was like, well... I can elucidate a little bit, but doing so would give a lot of context and directly reference stuff that hasn't been stated by the show yet. And I know that for like a lot of what we talk about, spoilers isn't necessarily an issue, but I don't get too muddled in facts that aren't introduced yet as to not get too confused myself.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if anybody else is out there has watched this show, there are things that we learn about Diane, and there are things that kind of recontextualize what has happened previously. So it's just a careful eye is needed when you really try to get down to the nitty gritty.
Right, because like I said,
Maybe even a brown eye.
I love Bracho's
doll's eye?
contribution to this whole episode is just holes, brown eye.
Yeah, holes, deeper, brown eye, doll's eyes.
Dude, you guys are hitting all the good stuff. You to just pop in
That's
whenever.
what she said.
So my original, I don't know if about you guys, I'm assuming for Bracho too, but like when you rewatch the first season, like we did not too long ago, whenever Dale was being all peppy and happy talking to Diane on his recorder, I got the sense that he was talking to somebody that was as lively or like understood his personality and was more like compliant and like maybe a better reaction. So like like somebody that's also bubbly and enthusiastic like Dale was.
And
or
like, pleasant.
Right? Yeah, I got a pleasant sense that Diane, like, which she was happy and whatever. But yeah, there should be more context later in this, like her reveal of who she looks like and things like that. That
She looks like Laura Dern.
She's definitely Laura Dern. She's Commander
with a very
Hux?
specific.
What's her name again?
Yeah, gosh, I don't remember. Don't care.
Purple hair.
Purple hair, yeah.
But she has a very specific hairstyle. She's
Hold
a
on.
very specific fashion sense in this show. She's a little bit larger than life. This Diane person.
This version of Diane is very gaudy and like
Constantly
indulgent with
yeah.
pills, beer, hard alcohol, cigarettes.
Telling people to go F themselves.
Pretty cool with what you're saying.
She's just so cool, guys.
So cool.
She's just very
Doing all the cool things.
prickly.
She's got the coolest jacket on.
Yeah, dude.
Something my grandma would wear.
Okay. All right.
And as we know, Tyler's grandma is the coolest.
She has the leopard print all over.
Everything. All leopard everything.
And then we get shown. Tammy shows them
Right
some
hand,
fingerprints.
Left hand.
So yeah, she spent the past
The dick
3 episodes, I think, kind of looking at fingerprints, and finally being like,
hold on.
"Guys, these are different."
Go back real quick.
To what?
Just there.
Little
I'm
finger?
looking at the actual information on the.
Oh, gotcha. Male,
Huh. Okay.
white, 6 foot.
One has a date.
170.
The other one doesn't have a
Brown.
date that I can identify.
Buckhorn, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Foghorn.
One of them. 922. No, that doesn't make any sense.
September
know.
22nd.
Maybe, but there's no date there. Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm just being my own self, my investigative self. There he is. He's grabbing the spiritual mount.
We got the spiritual mounds from Tammy here.
Dude, I was grabbing my spiritual mound the other day, dude.
Yeah. What did it tell you?
Not much.
Which kind of goes
Didn't have
into
much to say actually.
what we talked about earlier and what we've maybe, I don't know, alluded to, the thought process of like deeper meanings behind some of these episodes that David Lynch likes to thread his personality, his TM kind of thought processes into the show, and they spring up other ideas, and we could look into what the hell he's talking about to understand things a little bit more. With, do you remember what he says? It's very, very nice to see you again, Gordon, or something
And
like that.
he like counts. I don't know whether it's the number 10 being significant or like
It's the finger where
The soul finger.
it's the
Well,
it's a spirit mound
it's-
where he says a specific word. Maybe, I'm not sure.
well, the order that he says it in and the order that he counts the fingers in, he says it's very, and that's, I pointed it out when Doppelkoop in the, like, I think it was the last episode when they went and visited him. He says you're very good to see you, my friend. So that second word that he says, he's like, I guess theoretically saying very, very, but realistically, when you watch the show, he says it's very.
So
And if Gordon, nobody else reacts to it. Nobody ever calls it out. And then Gordon says it's very, very. So when he's counting, it lands on that finger that he then points out as the spiritual mound. So it's like, is it a hallucination? Is it some weird like black like lodge fuckery? I don't know.
I think it is that. It's the Black Lodge bleeding through, where Gordon understood it because he has bad hearing anyway. He heard very, but we all heard in the dialogue it was river.
Could be. Absolutely could be.
I'm looking up what actually is Spirit Mound is. There's Spirit Mound. So no.
It's called a pubis mound.
Here, I'm gonna link a video that just is a highlight of what I'm talking about. There you go.
It's
very good to see you again, old friend.
Yeah, what do you have to say about this? What are your thoughts of a spirit mound and its significance?
Like on your hand?
Is it a deeper understanding of them still, like they're going to see Coop at this point? So Diane has yet to see Coop, and Gordon is trying to be like, is this him? Isn't this him? So he's still on the fence of who this person is. So he needs Diane to actually double confirm his suspicions. So him pointing out the spirit mound is significant because he's leaning towards
he's not pointing it out to Diane. He's pointing it out to Tammy.
Well, he's clarifying for himself right now, but then Diane does confirm it for him, like, there's something missing here, and he's like, that's enough for me. That's good enough for me, Diane.
Yeah. But he's showing the spiritual mound thing to Tammy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it has more to do also with Tammy's understanding of fingers and fingerprints too, because that's what she's been doing.
Especially if you understand.
So he's like, hey, I'll show you something about fingers.
Immediately before he tells her that, he says something about like she's showing him this information and bringing this to him, and then he says something about like, once again, Tammy, you're dead on, or like you're getting the right information, girl, or he's telling her like, hey, without you knowing,
you are
telling me what I would want to hear from an investigator that would be under my employ. Like he's basically saying like, hey, you're acting like a Blue Rose investigator without even knowing it. Is what it always seemed to me. Is how he's like treating her and grooming her in that way, like in a good way. I'm using that word. He's training her as an employee of the FBI to be like, hey, eventually be like, hey, there's this Blue Rose shit going on, and it involves A, B, C, and fucking Major Briggs and Twin Peaks, and
yeah, it's definitely more of a Blue Rose understanding too, because they read things in symbols and stuff, and just like the Fire Walk with Me stuff with Kiefer Sutherland and our boy Chester, understanding what that girl was doing with her hands and her blinking and her scrunched up face. Like that's more to read into also.
My mother's sister's girl.
Mm-hmm. So we'll move on from Doppelkoop having a party in Photoshop land.
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice is weird villa with a pool and an ocean view.
Like Somebody was just standing directly in front of his path of walking, taking a photo of him by the pool.
Yeah, this will be great. This will be great. Let's do it.
Hold on, Mr. C. Got it.
Got it. That'll look great in the homeowners association pamphlets. So we got Diane walking in to go see Coop by herself, and she says hey to Tammy and says F off. She fixes herself a little bit, gets settled, and then we got the reveal. It's like, do you remember what happened at my house? And he's like, yeah, I'll never forget that time at your house. And she gets freaked out.
Well,
it must have been some event at that house.
Yeah, we will find out.
Because that leaves her shook.
It is definitely something that the show sets up and pays off, not just leaves hanging.
Yep. And we got this guy shaking some hands.
Shaking some hands.
And we got Laura Dern acting her little ass off. Durning it.
Doing a darn good job.
Oh yeah.
Durning it up. We got Gordon here turning it up on his little volume knobby.
Turning his dial up.
And then
hold on. He says, "Hold on, let me turn my
let me turn my dial, Diane."
Diane, hold on, I need to turn my hearing aid up.
And we got Black Eyes Like a Doll's Eyes here saying, "Let's go talk about a strawberry." And we got more of these scenic shots that we talked about.
One of these scenic. It's not even an establishing shot because the scene doesn't take place here. Nothing has anything to do with it. Anything happening here, it's like a palate cleanser, like that commenter said. It's just like a
I could say that it's a transition
bring
between
you to one place so that when you go to the next scene, you are then transported to that next place even further.
Yeah, and Andy's here waiting for that guy that said he would meet him at 4:30 or whenever, but he has just a door open.
By the creek.
And we have some eerie music playing during this part, and that's that. And Andy, Deputy Andy, or whatever, is just sitting there.
Hey, Brennan.
So yeah, we have a interesting conversation with the warden and Doppelkoop saying, "I know what happened to the dog," and to our buddy...
3 dogs' legs, one dog with your information that you're thinking of.
McCluskey will leave.
McCluskey. Traveling with the Strawberry Man.
A lot of weird, people that we don't understand what their role is to play at this point. Super cryptic understanding. And this guy is definitely shook about the whole situation. Like, how do you know these names? Yeah. What's going on here? And then
my little fish under the camera wants to know what you mean.
Doppelkoop gets to leave with the car, and he does.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we're getting to this situation. This was really great. It's always great to see Dougie. So Dougie gets some policemen to come into his office, and we got David Koechner here as a detective investigating this car that exploded.
Hey, I served him pizza once.
And how was that? Where was this pizza? Were you working at Blaze, or where was this?
Spicy Pie.
Spicy Pie? Okay.
Spicy Pie.
It was like him, John Latrulio, I forget which movie it was, but a group of these guys just came in and ordered something. And I was like, holy shit. Oh, one of them was fucking Badger from Breaking Bad, and I pulled him aside and was like, "Oh, dude, I just heard your band. You guys are awesome."
Oh, nice.
But unrelated. Yeah, good Dougie this episode. Good Dougie.
Good Dougie. Give yourself a pat on the back, Dougie. You're a good boy.
Good Dougie.
We give this episode a rating of good Dougie.
2 Dougies way up.
We had some
stolen
great, Ducky retorts and mimicries, and Janey-E's getting really frustrated. Stolen
evening,
sir.
Yeah, and him reaching for the badges again on TV.
Yep. And even the boss has to come in and be like, "Dougie, I'll help you. I'm the owner of this establishment.
I'm Bushnell Mullins. I own this place. I'm a former boxer. He works for me.
So yeah, this is just the understanding of where his car has been, and it seems like he's in the clear of all wrongdoings with his car because he's Dougie. He gets away with anything. And that's
Yeah.
that scene. But then we get this crazy scene. Ike the Spike comes in with a
Oh, look at
gun.
that. Rah! His reaction is amazing. He just snaps into being the protector.
Well, I think it was him staring like at that statue for so long. He's like, "There's a gun here."
It's just the Dale that's like hidden under the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
He recognizes, yeah, the gun very, very probably from
the
the
statue,
statue,
and I
and
think
especially from being in the square with the statue.
that's where he
He was
looks. I think.
He was like in the right place at the right time. Yeah, look, he like looks up and kind of recognizes the statue a little bit as he's walking out,
Pushes Janey-E. Huh. Yeah. Bruh.
and just
Somehow squeezes his arm, like chops him in the neck a few times.
yeah, gives him a karate chop, Austin Powers karate chop in the neck.
And then this is a great
For
scene.
some reason, the arm shows up and is encouraging him to fucking squeeze his hand off.
It's squeezed, and I think that's what he's doing. He's squeezing some flesh off like the Spike's hand onto the grip of the gun.
Oh, yeah, he's like squishing his hand into the gun and like rubbing his palm so hard that a little bit of is what must happen for the thing later to take place. But like,
Yep. Look at him just dancing. The arm is just
we don't-
dancing.
you can't really see. Yeah,
What a weird situation to be in.
this. Hey, welcome to Twin Peaks: The Return.
Well, because it happens so fast, and then like the Spike's like
Yeah.
guttural like noises he's making, trying to breathe from being chopped in the throat. I mean, ugh.
And Janey-E, immediately after Dale like gets her out of harm's way and points the gun to the ground, she's in there just choking him out and being like, "Let go of him!" And she jumps right in.
Yep.
Tough cookie, I think. Somebody is a direct quote about Janey-E this episode. She's a tough cookie.
Bracho completely left our discussion, but
Well, something must have happened to the boy.
um,
Something must have happened to the boy.
then after that aftermath, we had some interesting dialogue with some onlookers that were witness to the event, and they're like, "He smelled bad,"
Yeah.
or "I saw him. He was just like a cobra." He, you know,
That Douglas Jones, he moved just like a cobra. All I saw was a blur. Yeah. The thing about smelling bad too was like, okay, if you had gone one step further and said like, I smelled like burnt engine oil, that would really call back and maybe kind of like tie things together in a certain way to at least lead your mind in one way or another.
yeah.
But then we get this. I'm glad you landed where you did.
Yeah, I tried to find this. The other one just was stopped rendering or something like that. So I switched over to this, and yeah, they're vignetting around the gun, and there's some
Yeah.
flesh. It
They
looks to me
really,
like
really
there's
want
some
us to notice
flesh.
what is happening here. And that has to be like flesh from Ike the Spike when he was holding it.
Mm-hmm.
But why are we vignetting it? And then there was the second thing about it too. It's just like, well, no, the second thing is just why? Why is there just a little lump of flesh, and why does it matter that? I don't know. It's just strange, which is not unusual for the show, but it has to be said.
Yeah, for sure. And then we get some Ben and
Uh,
his secretary.
Yeah, this
But-
scene that I also can't fully explain, like what is. I can tell you what's happening, but I can't tell you the meaning behind it.
Well, what right now you can't hear it, but they're listening for a whistle, and I don't know. leave it to anybody's interpretation, so definitely leave comments what you think this humming is. But we, to our understanding, think that it could be the spirits within the wood itself at the Great Northern, because I assume they found a lot of this, wood that they use, like it's real wood and things like that, from the local forests and in the local area. So there could be some, go back to all of our discussions on wood and Twin Peaks and its meaning and symbolism with Log Lady and spirits being within them and Josie. We were contemplating or throwing that theory out there that it could be just some kind of spirits that are in the wood, knowing that there's some eerie things coming to light, or it could mean anything.
Well, the only other thing that happens in this scene is she, and maybe you'll be able to find a frame of it, but she says to Ben, like, "Oh, and this came in the mail." I forget exactly what the dialogue was because we were discussing this, but yeah, he's got it in his hand right there. It's the key that Dougie
had, or Coop had when he came out of the outlet, and then Jane actually dropped it into the mailbox.
Mm-hmm. So
Jade.
Maybe it's like an air tag or something like that, where like the proximity of this artifact from the past that was Dale's room key, where Josie shot him, where where the giant appeared to him, where all of these things happened, and where he spent this much time. The reintroduction of this artifact into this environment of the Great Northern starts resonating.
I like that.
After all this time,
because it's been in the Black Lodge all this time for 25 years, and it's just come out.
Yeah. So like these two, it's like magnets or something. Like you take one thing and its partner, and then you separate them for a long time, and then you reintroduce them to each other, and there's like a resonance between them.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Is the only thing that I can think of is like why that noise is happening is just because there's something that has been reintroduced into the like soup or the chemistry of Twin Peaks and the Great Northern and all these things happening, and it's just kind of like resonating.
And the significance of it like resonating has multiple meanings. Like it's coming from another realm or another source. Like it's been captive for so long, it's kind of emanating that noise, that high-pitched hum. What does that hum mean? Is it foreboding? Is it like a pleasant? Like it doesn't seem like it's harsh tone. It seems like it's just like a subtle whistling, like Gordon was doing.
And the fact that
it's like pleasantness coming back into Twin Peaks, maybe.
Even the fact that the typical person can pick up on it. It's not like either of these people are Huck or Dale or really anybody who in the original series might have been picking up on some of that extra sensory stuff. This is just, it seems like it's just a noise that's happening in the room, and anybody who walked in could hear it. So yeah, it's like that strong of a signal maybe that it like is piercing through that many layers of the veil.
Mm-hmm. And then we get a slow zoom in on the wood itself that led us to believe that it could be just wood, and it's whistling.
It could be just wood.
It's just wood. It's the spirits within the wood.
It could be just wood.
And then we had this palate cleanser. I think we're calling these palate cleansers, these moments that kind of distract you.
From what the commenter said, it very much rings true to this scene right here of character, partner, some sort of dysfunction, and maybe being a palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm. You hungry? Not really.
Where were you?
Where were you? I was doing work.
It's like a cyclical. Where were you? Are you hungry? What were you doing? Well, I can make you food.
Trying to have two different conversations.
One step at a time. Yeah.
He wants to know where she's been. She wants him to eat.
To know if he's hungry.
Will they get out of this conversation?
Put that in the movie trailer.
Yeah.
He wanted to know where she had been.
And that's the movie. She just wants him to eat food.
She wanted to know if he was hungry. Well, I can make you something. Or
this spring.
This November. 2 questions. Only on Disney Plus. And then
the longest sweeping ever occurs.
I don't know why, but I swear to God that I have a memory of this being of the credits starting to roll during this.
There might be another
one. But it doesn't.
There might be another one where it actually does, where it's like a higher angle, like down at the floor. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is another weird palate cleanser kind of like. But we get Jean talking on the phone about some whores.
Is it Jean?
Jean or Jacques? I mean, I'm just gonna some J.
Well, one of them got smothered.
Some Renault.
Some Renault.
Renault
Somebody
bro.
that I used to Renault.
This Renault bro gets a phone call. And then he talks to somebody about some blondes that he
paid him for 2.
I paid for 2. I paid for 2.
He owes me for 2.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting to know that he's still in the game, doing some kind of shady shit.
It seems like any of the Renaults are like they fulfill this like role of the town, like a village would have a village idiot, or it would have like the town crier or something like that. That just like doesn't matter who it is. At some point, somebody's going to be that, whether they are chosen or they step into that role. And it just always seems like there's a Renault who's like tending bar, or there's always a Renault on one side of the border or the other who's doing some shady shit.
Yeah. And then, our Doppelkoop gets to leave for the night and to get into a car.
With his friend Ray.
And then this guy comes into the Double R Diners saying, anybody see Billy? And then runs away. And then that's
Has anybody seen Billy?
And he just runs.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
I think Metch and Amick like actually like looked at the camera like, was that supposed to happen?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just started rolling under one impression and then this happened. Like the director, there were certain people who were aware of it and it just was the direction.
Yeah, like they all look, and then she's like, "Wait, he runs?"
Wait.
And then look at her, like look at the
yeah,
spike the lens.
That's
like
pretty. Yeah, that is actually that's straight down the barrel.
Was that supposed to happen, guys?
And
then she looks at the crew.
She
like,
looks at her cast members. She looks at her fellow cast members, and look at the look she gives. She's like, "Well, must be David doing something."
David did it.
Gosh. Yeah.
And they left it in as a spoof, and they just kept it going.
But then it keeps rolling, and they were probably just given the instruction to be like, "Okay, it's diner time. Everybody act like you're at a diner." And then this dude just is like,
So, do we think that was a spoof? Because like that was definitely like it seems so on par for what Twin Peaks is known for, is like having a weird situation happen like that, and just people not really reacting, being like, no, like he just leaves.
Well, from looking at it, like every part of the frame, like there's people sitting at the bottom left here. There's people on the right side. There's Heidi. Supposedly Norma is off to the right side, outside of the frame that we can't see.
Yep.
Everybody has the same reaction, and it's so like staggered. Like there's still a dude who's looking. It looks like he's in a denim jacket. He's sitting next to a white Frosty sign.
Oh yeah, I see him.
And it looks like he is looking out of the far left window, still tracking the person that was outside.
Yeah, and so is the girl that's right behind Match and Amick too. She's like watching him run around the corner.
So,
and maybe that other guy.
It seems like they are still having like a natural reaction, and they are not fully back into the scene yet.
Right.
But everybody else is resuming their extra duties of like the chatter, the being at the counter, etc.
Yeah, the guy in,
like you said,
the guy in the foreground, right, the closest to the camera, is just like, I don't give a shit. I want more pie.
I'd like my pie, please. But yeah, like you said, imagine Amy like looking straight at the camera, and then immediately after that, looking at her co-stars or like her fellow cast members to be like, guys. But since nobody necessarily had a line, I bet their direction was just like, okay, everybody,
Act like
diner,
you're doing a diner scene.
diner, go.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, all right, send the kid in.
Yeah, you probably call
hit him
him.
with it.
I'm glad the double R, or is Coke products. You see their fountain drinks over there?
Diet Coke, Fanta,
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb, High C.
Yeah, High C Orange Crush or something like that.
Wow. And they still have like the jukebox back there too.
Yeah, I'm glad they're just not a Pepsi.
No cigarette
establishment.
machine anymore though.
No, there isn't one. And the layout looks a little different too, because I don't remember tabletops on that side. I remember there being like a big ice cream machine, like right where that potted plant is, or where Heidi was, maybe.
Yes, I think some of the if this here is an actual location, and if it is the same as the first one where it was an actual location and not just a soundstage both times, then it's very possible, because I do remember there being tables on both sides, but yeah, clearly the whole counter and like behind the counter has been changed, because there used to be all kinds of the displays that are on there now. There's like two. There used to be a lot more.
Yeah, they've kind of minimized it a bit. But yeah, that's
Nothing like a good diner though.
I know it looks so cozy, like that.
It really does.
This whole scene just evokes that coziness, that cozy feel that we love Twin Peaks for.
Well,
among other things.
And I don't know if you experienced that in the place that we grew up in, but like there were certainly some restaurants that I ate at in Fargo where it felt not timeless, but it was just like, wow, this really has been a place that I've eaten at as like a
Feel good
child in my single digits, and then a teenager, and now I'm in my 20s, etc. And it is just
that happened
still
with
the
me.
same place you remember.
Well, it's not anymore for me, because I used to go a lot to King House Buffet downtown. Every like winter, it seemed like we would go down there, and they have since like closed it. It's become like a bank or something like that. But I mean, I kept some memorabilia from there, so I'm always keeping that close. But yeah, there are places like that have that cozy feel to it, because there's nothing like going downtown Fargo, going to an Asian buffet, sitting by the window, watching the snow fall, eating some really good food, and just getting all cozy.
Or the downtown Mexican Village when that was still open, or like
That too, yeah.
because I was in South Fargo, so like Peppers. I don't know if you're familiar with
I
that
remember
place.
Peppers.
Happy Joe's down there. There used to be an A&W there. I mean, they're just, but it it does just being in this scene. Even if nothing happens except for the dude yelling, "Where's Billy?" It does feel very comfortable and very familiar.
And that was part 7. There's a body, all right.
Man,
And we're on to episode 8.
next week is gonna be...
So if nobody else knows, to those uninitiated or has not seen anything about this show or The Return, this next episode is Got a Light. That's
So
actually what it's
to
called.
put it in the simplest terms that I can, the next episode is drastically different than most other episodes of television that you'll ever watch, just because it is like, I think the majority of it doesn't have dialogue, and
It's black and white, I think, too.
Yep, a majority of it is black and white, and the cinematography. There are so many things that are specifically done differently than a lot of the things that you would see in the return previous to this episode, or like I said, just in most other television shows. So
we'll see what we all have to say when we watch it, because that's going to be a huge event. So definitely stay tuned. Comment more on this episode if you have seen God of Light. Put your thoughts down in the comments now, and hopefully before we watch that, we can address them before we watch it. And then, yeah, it'll be an interesting watch, because it's been a while since I've seen it. I know that it's, seeing the title, I know kind of the context about it, but I don't remember a lot of the imagery. And
there's going to be, I think, a lot of small specific details that we're going to be like, oh.
Yeah. And it's a good idea to maybe mute ourselves, but all watch it at the same time.
That's why, I honestly think because it's such a different episode, taking a different approach to it is not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. That's
kind of an interesting
we could
very easily just
talk over it
via text, or talk over things that we would miss that would very easily be impactful.
Yeah, we'll do like a live chat in Discord. Like, did you see that shit? What the fuck? But yeah, stay tuned for that. Like I said, leave comments on this episode preemptively to talk about God of Light, and hopefully we'll discuss them. Yeah, I enjoyed understanding other people's ideas from that one commenter, what those, kind of sidetracking narratives are meant to serve. It's always interesting to know what other people think about some of these things that we find maybe interesting, or spend a little more time discussing its reason why it's there or something. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Come back next week, and yeah, all I can say is thanks for watching, and I have to prepare myself mentally for this next episode.
It's almost a good thing that we took a little bit of extra time between this episode and the last one, because it there is a part of you that kind of forgets or moves out of the mindset.
Right.
And so by the next time that we watch the next episode, I think that it will be a similar experience where we're not fully prepared to be in that mindset.
Yeah. It'll be something.
It'll be fun. It'll be a good episode. Thank you everybody for joining, and hope to see you next time. Leave a comment. Keep the conversation going.
Keep it going. Leave a like if you like this video, and yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.